Welcome back to the channel, Fill Up Your Senses. This is where we try to find ways to spice up your life. Whether it's something complicated like travel and backpacking, or something simple you can do in your own kitchen. These are ways to add a little bit of spice to your life. That little toenail clicking you hear, that's my 15-year-old dog Angus, who just is, he's deciding whether he wants to eat a cherry off the floor from our granola. All right. What we're going to do today is make some banana nut bread. No matter how many bananas I buy, nobody ever eats the last two. I put them on this kitchen table, and then they get like this. This is when it's time to make banana nut bread. And I think the reason nobody eats the last two is because we both love banana nut bread. I thought it would be really fun to use a recipe from this 1950 Betty Crocker's Picture Cookbook. I compared it with all the banana nut bread recipes I had in Better Homes and Gardens new cookbooks, one from the 60s, one from the 90s, and really the recipe hasn't changed a lot. I've got two dogs. One's out there lapping up water. The other one behind me is scratching. So hopefully they'll both want out in a minute. You guys need out? What I like about the uniqueness of this recipe is that it's a key recipe for fruit loaf breads. And it's got basic ingredients, and then you can change it up and make applesauce loaf, orange date loaf, prune loaf, banana loaf, or date and nut loaf. Also, since this recipe is from the 1950s, I thought it would be cool to break out a 1950s apron. And it looks like it had some of the original Velcro tabs. See if you can see that. But they don't work anymore. So some little sweet lady has put a safety pin on here, and we're going to be utilizing that if I can figure out how to put it on. So look here, we've got a key recipe, and then underneath we have amendments for specific recipes. So you'll notice that this recipe has 3 sections. Instead of a bunch of written instructions like you get with most recipes, it says mix together thoroughly, and then you've got your ingredients. Stir in, and you've got your ingredients. Sift together and stir in. Then blend in. Pour into a greased loaf pan. Ooh! Let stand for 20 minutes before baking. That's new. I've never seen that. We'll give that a try. This recipe will take a little bit of prep. It's calling for buttermilk or sour milk, which I don't have. So we've got 3 tablespoons of fat-free half and half, to which we're going to add a squeeze of lime juice. You can use lemon juice, which is what most people recommend, but I've always got limes on hand. I don't ever have lemons on hand, and it works just as well. I'm going to let that curdle up. It's already started. Also, we need some chopped nuts. I only have whole nuts. We're going to chop those up, and we need to mash our bananas. We're going to need a half a cup of chopped nuts. One thing I did notice in this recipe, nowhere does it mention a blender. Even though blenders were fairly popular, or mixers, not blenders, mixers, were fairly popular in the 50s. And my mixer is from the 30s, so I know they were around. Trust me, we're not creaming sugar by hand. We also need to peel and mash up our bananas to be 1 cup. It's been my experience that 2 bananas equal 1 cup. Say hi.
I think that goes against modern science.
In what way?
Two bananas equal 1 cup.
These look really ripe on the outside, but they're not quite as ripe on the inside as I usually. I like them to be pretty brown and mushy on the inside. These are nice and firm still. We will be using a mixer to cream the sugars and the shortening. So I'm going to be using my Mixmaster, which is from the 30s and still works like a charm. So we'll get her out of the way while we do some measuring. So we need 1/3 of a cup of shortening. You know, you really should be measuring shortening through water displacement. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to squeeze it in there. Make sure I don't have any air pockets. Okay, so we've got 1/3 of a cup shortening, 2/3 cup of sugar. Now that I've boogered up my measuring cup, but not to worry. I have multiple sets of measuring cups for just that purpose. We don't use a lot of sugar. It tends to clump up on me. I'm going to kind of stir it up, soften it up as best I can. And then I'm going to put it in a sifter, just so we make sure that we have no clumps. And there they are in the bottom. We got some clumps. This sifter has a handle. Personally, I find it easier to just give it a couple of shakes. That was 1/3. Look at that. Here's 2/3. We're going to cream those together with the Sunbeam Mixmaster. I want you to see. Oh, it's going to be backwards for you. I'm going to have to flip it in post. It's cool. Made in the 30s. The outside blender has a little plastic button on it that runs along the bottom of the bowl, which helps it turn the bowl. We'll give it a little assist if we need. There's also settings on here. It says adding dry ingredients. Number 8. So number 8 says beating eggs, creaming butter, and sugar. And that's what we're doing, is we're creaming butter and sugar. We're going to add 2 eggs. These are actually quite large. So I'm going to get 2 that look medium. And mix thoroughly. Now we stir in the milk and 1 cup of mashed bananas. Our milk has started to curdle nicely, which is really cream, or half and half. You can see the curdles. I'm going to put in the milk. And you're going back on the tripod so I can add the bananas. Our Mixmaster has a setting, number 3, that says it's for mixing cookies and fruitcakes. And that's what we're going to use. Add up all this mashed banana. Give her a whirl. So our recipe says sift together and then stir in 2 cups of gold medal baking flour. I don't think mine is gold medal. I don't remember what brand it was, but it's probably Pillsbury or Kroger. Our flour is pre-sifted, but that's okay, we're going to sift it again anyway. Back in the day, their flour would not have been pre-sifted. One. So it's okay to kind of tap the flour in because it would not have been pre-sifted when this recipe was made. But I really don't think, just, we'll see. If it comes out wrong, then we'll know we should have packed it in a little bit better. Okay, so we've got our flour. To that we are going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Half a teaspoon of soda, and I'm sure that means baking soda. Oops, half a teaspoon. Glad I caught that. Oh, this is so clumpy. There we go. Half a teaspoon of salt. This is so much easier than trying to pour salt out of a salt container. I just keep this big mouth jar for cooking. All right. Everything's nice and sifted. Our mixer, back on the number 3 setting, and slowly add these in. One of my beaters is loose. There we go. Much better. Now, got one knocking. It's either been bent. I used to keep the beaters in the drawer. Oh, listen. Sure sounds bent. Oh, one is loose. Look at that. There we go. Take a look at the instructions. It just says blend in. It doesn't say how long, it doesn't say thoroughly, it doesn't say just until, but it seems incorporated. It's really thicker batter than what I'm used to. Hey, to take the beaters off, you just turn the handle to the side and it pushes them off. Is that cool? This mixture is much, much thicker than what I'm used to seeing with banana nut bread. It's usually more like just a little thicker than pancake batter. But this is even thicker than cake batter. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to turn out. Okay. What we're going to do now is mix in the nuts. Look how thick that batter is. See how thick that is? It's really different. Ooh, I almost lost some. Okay, and it says, oh, it smells very banana-y. I always put vanilla in mine, but this recipe didn't call for it, so we're going to try it as is for now. It says we have to let it rest for 20 minutes. While we do that, we can preheat the oven and grease the pan. Hey Google, set a timer for 20 minutes. So we're preheating the oven to 350. Got this nice Pyrex pan. So it is very appropriate for the 50s recipe. But truthfully, I use it all the time. Did I put that shortening away? So before Pam, you know Pam, she hangs out in a can, a little spray can. Before she came along, this is what we did. Just took a blob of shortening in your fingers. Just spread it around. Not too thick, but you want to make sure all your surfaces are covered. That's what keeps it from sticking. I have to tell you what happens though. On these Pyrex pans, that shortening will brown, and then it's hard to get off without damaging the glaze on your pan. That's our timer. All right, so I'm really not sure why we let it rest for 20 minutes. It doesn't look any different. It's not any thinner, it's not any thicker, but we followed the instructions. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it in. And I have to tell you, this apron is hot. I mean, I have modern air conditioning in my home, and I'm sure some people did in the 50s as well. This apron is hot. It wraps completely around. Now, mind you, I'm wearing a t-shirt, and they were probably wearing a thinner dress, maybe a house dress. Who knows? In the 50s. I know what they wore when they had a party. I just don't know what they wore. And this would be an early 50, 1950. So I'm not sure what they would have worn around the house. Okay. It's really thick. So it doesn't have a funky ridge on top. I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit. Boy, man, there's not much batter in there. It doesn't even fill up a half. You see? Okay. Stick it in the oven for 50 to 60 minutes. My granddaughter has called and I'm supposed to babysit, so I've got to put this in the oven and go pick up my great-grandson and help her get to work. So I'm trusting my husband to pull this out of the oven. And there's the doorbell. Let's see who that is. Honey, I'm putting this in the oven and I'm going to set a timer. Can you take it out when it goes off? Ben? You going to be home? All right, Google. Hey, Google. Set a timer for 55 minutes.
55 minutes. Starting now.
All right.
What are you setting the alarm for?
For the bread in the oven.
What time though?
In 55 minutes.
55?
Yes.
Fixing.
Here's some toothpicks. You put it in the middle. If it comes out clean, it's done. Then
It comes out dirty.
you put
I need
it
to
back in
wash
for
it?
5 more minutes. Thank you. All right, Ben has taken the bread out of the oven, and by the time we got back, it's fairly cool. All you have to do now is run a knife around, but it's not sticking at all. So you can run a knife all the way around the edge, and then just tilt it out. Woo! But not on the floor. And it's still kind of warm. So we're going to put it on a rack. All right, she's on a rack, cooling down. She's got a really beautiful crust, very shiny. It didn't raise a whole lot. You can see But we're not going to cut into it until it's nice and cool so it doesn't fall apart. Can you wave to my camera? Wave to my... See it? This is Tilly, my great-grandson. He's playing Legos at the table. Our banana nut bread is not 100% cool, but I am ready to try it. So I am going to... You want to see?
Wow.
Does it look good?
Does it?
It's not hot, it's just a little bit warm.
Really?
Uh-huh. It's a little bit warm. I'm ready to cut it up so we can taste it. You want to taste it?
Ooh, pea pie.
Yeah, it looks like cake. It's got sugar in it, so it tastes a little bit like dessert.
Oh, pie.
It's a bread.
Oh, pea pie.
You want a piece of pie? I don't have any pie.
Yeah, I love pie.
Me too. Okay, I've got this nifty little bread slicer I got back in the 90s when everybody had a bread machine. And you just take a close look at it. The little slots are numbered on either side. You just put your bread in here, push it all the way to the back, and then put your knife between the slots to cut nice even slices. It's important when you're slicing bread that you use a bread knife. This one's nice and long.
Oh.
Bread knives have a serrated edge. Here's another. They have a serrated edge so that when you're cutting your bread, you're not squishing it. It makes a nice even slice. Okay, well you can bring your chair here. Come stand right here. You can watch. All right.
I'm turning. I'm going to turn that. Oh, a bigger one.
Uh-huh, it's a bigger one. Wait. You don't need to touch every piece. If you want to taste it, you can have that one. You want to taste it?
I didn't buy this. I didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. I made it.
I didn't make it.
Well, we made it with bananas and eggs and milk and flour and sugar.
Why?
Why? Because we love banana nut bread. Papa and I both love banana nut bread. It's got pecans in it.
Pecan.
You see the pecans in it?
This one?
Yeah, that's a pecan. You know who else loves banana nut bread? Shadow. That is why he's standing around. He's waiting for us to give him a piece of banana nut bread. I usually give him the heel. You got a piece right here. You can, if you don't want the heel piece, we can give that part of that to Shadow and the other part to Angus. But we've got a piece over here that's all crumbled up, and we can probably give that to them and save this one. All right, now watch this. We're going to take it out.
No, I put this one in there.
But no, it has a bite out of it.
Oh,
What do you think? Is it good?
I did.
Mmm.
I put my finger in there.
You put your finger in there.
Yeah.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I like the crust.
I just put.
The crust is good. Okay. We're gonna have to ask Papa if he wants some.
Purple.
Well, I love the crust on this recipe. It's really crunchy. It has a nice flavor. So I would do this one again.
Thank you for hanging out with me in my kitchen today, and I hope you'll come back and we can cook something again. Be sure and hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell if you want to be notified with the next video. Goodbye, till next time.